The rain hammered the roof like it was trying to break through, each drop a sharp thud against the old tin. I sat on the edge of my childhood bed, the mattress sagging under me, fingers tracing the faded quilt my grandmother stitched. The room smelled of dust and faint lavender, the kind that lingers from sachets tucked in drawers years ago. I'd come back to this house after the city chewed me up. Guarded, walls high, my life a quiet routine of farm work and unspoken wants. No one knocked unannounced here. Folks called first, or they just showed up at dawn with coffee. A creak pulled me from the window. Floorboards groaned under weight outside the door. Slow steps in the hall. My heart kicked. Who? I froze. Hand on the knob. The storm's roar muffling everything. I pulled it open. There she was. Mara, my childhood friend. Soaked through, dark hair clinging to her neck, eyes shadowed but sharp. Years had carved lines around them, but that jaw, that quiet intensity, it hit me like the rain. Mara, my voice caught. She looked city-worn, coat dripping, bag slung heavy over her shoulder. She nodded, water pooling at her feet. It's me. Can I stepped aside, the air shifting with her scent, wet wool and something sharper, like city exhaust. Come in. The house felt smaller already, my solitude cracked. She dropped her bag. We both knew the spare room was storage now. Shared space loomed, reluctant, but inevitable. You know that pull? When the past sneaks up and wraps around you tight? That's what hit as Mara shook off her coat, hanging it on the hook by the door. The kitchen light flickered on, casting her face in warm yellow, sharper cheekbones now, hair cut shorter, styled in that effortless city way. Back then, it fell long and wild, tangled from running through fields, catching on barbed wire. She'd laugh, shake it out, and I'd watch too long, my chest tight with something I couldn't name. Sleepovers in this very house, us under blankets, whispering secrets till dawn, her leg brushing mine, accidental-like. Those glances, quick and loaded, hints of more simmering under innocent games. I buried it deep, Sapphic truths, no place for in a small town where whispers could ruin you. She looked different. Polished boots, scuffed from travel, jeans fitted sleek, not the frayed ones from our youth. It stirred nostalgia, sharp as gravel underfoot, mixed with distance. Like she'd outgrown this dirt road life, while I stayed rooted, hiding my desires in the rhythm of chores, the solitude of empty nights. Fear twisted in me. What if being close reawakened it all? The longing I'd shoved down, living guarded, dates rare and careful, always ending in polite goodbyes. Mara rubbed her arms, goosebumps rising on skin paler than I remembered, city lights, maybe, or just time. Storm caught me bad. Family thing. Mom's not well. Had to drive back quick. No hotels open this late. Roads flooding. Her voice carried that urban edge. Quicker pace, but underneath, the drawl from summers here. Emergency, of course. This town pulled you back when it wanted. I nodded, filling the kettle, steam rising slow. Stay as long as you need. Words hung heavy. She unpacked her bag on the table, clothes folded neat, a book on city architecture, keys to an apartment I imagined sleek and anonymous. Our hands brushed, reaching for a mug. Her fingers cool, mine warm from the stove. A jolt, small but real, like static from wool. I pulled back quick, busying with tea bags, the herbal scent cutting the air. We sat, mugs steaming, rain easing to patter. She talked. City life, jobs and design, crowds that swallowed you, relationships that fizzled fast. Men who talk big but fade, she said, eyes on the window. I listened, empathy rising unbidden, mirroring my own hidden aches, my responses short, guarded. Sounds tiring, but inside, it echoed, my suppressed self, the women I'd almost pursued, then retreated from, fearing the town's eyes. The clock ticked past 10, house creaked settling. As night deepened, shadows lengthening across the scarred wood floor, it dawned. Only one bed in this small place. The couch, too narrow, spare room piled with boxes. Shared space again. My pulse quickened, the air thickening with what we'd left unset. She glanced up, mug paused. Where do I swallowed. We'll figure it. The words felt like a door cracking open, past and present colliding soft. I offered the couch first, voice steady as I could make it. It's lumpy, but it'll do. I've crashed there plenty. The words filled the kitchen's quiet, steam from our mugs long gone, leaving rings on the wood. Mara shook her head, slow, her eyes catching the dim bulb's glow. Warmer now in the settling house. No, we've shared before, remember? Sleepovers, giggling all night for old times' sake. And honestly, it's practical. Couch looks like it'll swallow me whole. She stood, stretching, her shirt pulling tight across shoulders broader from city weights, not the lean from our runs through the fields. I hesitated, pulse thudding low. Practical, that's what she called it. But the air hummed with more, the rain's patter fading to drips off the eaves. We moved to the bedroom, steps soft on the creaking boards. The space felt smaller under the single lamp's light, casting long shadows that danced like old ghosts across the walls, peeling paint, faded posters from my teen years tucked in corners. I pulled fresh sheets from the closet, crisp cotton smelling of lavender again, that faint echo of childhood. Mara watched from the doorway, arms crossed loose, her bag slung over one shoulder like she might bolt. This place hasn't changed, she said, voice soft, stepping in. The floor dipped under her weight, boards sighing. I smoothed the quilt, avoiding her gaze. Neither have I much. A lie, half true. I changed in silences, in wants buried deep. She set her bag down, unzipped it quiet, pulling out a worn t-shirt and shorts. Simple, faded, city labels peeling. Mind if I change? I nodded, turning to the window, rain-streaked glass cool under my fingers. The storm had eased, leaving the world slick and dark, fields beyond swallowed by night. Behind me, fabric rustled, soft sighs as she peeled off wet layers. My back tensed, imagining the curve of her spine, the way skin might glow in lamplight. We'd done this innocent once, racing to pajamas after swims in the creek, towels snapping playful. Now, the air thickened, charged like before thunder. Done! Her voice pulled me back. She stood by the bed, arms loose at sides, t-shirt hanging loose on her frame, shorts brushing thighs marked faint by time, scratches healed, muscles from walking concrete streets. We climbed in careful, me on the left, her on the right, the mattress dipping center like it pulled us in. The blanket settled heavy, woolen weight shared, tugging us closer as we shifted for space. Lamplight flickered low, shadows pooling in the hollow of her collarbone, the line of her jaw. Heat rose quick, her body a furnace after the chill, seeping through the thin barrier of sheets. We lay side by side, ceiling beams staring down like silent witnesses. Silence stretched, broken only by the house's settle, creaks, distant drip. Then she spoke, voice low, threading the dark. City's not what I thought. Relationships there. They start hot, burn out fast. Men who promise everything, deliver nothing. Left me questioning paths, what I really want. Her words hung, vulnerable, breath evening out beside me. I turned my head slight, catching her profile, eyes on the ceiling, lips parted soft. Empathy swelled, unbidden, mirroring my own nights alone, longing for women who saw me true, but town eyes kept distant. Sounds lonely? I said, guarded, voice even. Inside, it echoed, my suppressed pulls, the almost touches I'd walked from, fearing judgment's bite. She shifted, blanket rustling, pulling tighter across us both. It is. Always moving, never settling. You? Still here, holding steady. A question in her tone, probing gentle. I swallowed, heat from her side, blooming warm against my arm. Steady safe, but yeah, lonely too. Short, clipped, hiding the depth. The Sapphic ache I'd nursed quiet, dates with men to blend, ending hollow. Her laugh came soft, dry. We were kids dreaming big, now look. The words bridged us, past to now. Her struggles laid bare like cards. Breathing synced slow, unintentional. Her inhale matching my out, rhythm pulling like tide. Heat built, her body radiating steady, skin's warmth bleeding through cotton, close enough to feel the rise of her chest. My pulse matched it, aware sharp, the faint scent of her soap, clean and sharp, mixing with the room's dust. A shift. Her leg brushed mine under covers, accidental, sending spark up my thigh. I froze, breath held, the contact lingering electric. She didn't pull away quick, blanket holding us tethered. Dialogue. Faded to murmurs, her voice weaving regrets, lost chances in crowds, paths diverged. Wondered about you sometimes, if you'd changed. Guarded still, I murmured back, empathy slipping through cracks. Me too. Longing mirrored, suppressed wants, surfacing soft. The lamp clicked off, my hand finding the switch in dark. Room plunged deep, shadows swallowing light. Darkness amplified everything, each shift of sheets a whisper. Unspoken words, heavy in the black. Breaths, loud now, pulling us nearer in the void. Darkness wrapped the room tight, thick as the wool blanket over us, pressing every sound into sharp relief. I lay rigid on my side, the mattress unyielding under my back, muscles taut like fence wire, pulled too far. My mind wouldn't settle, raced instead through old paths, childhood memories unspooling like frayed rope. Those sleepovers, her head on my pillow, breath soft against my shoulder. Innocent then, but loaded now in hindsight. What ifs crowded in. What if I'd leaned closer that one summer night, fireflies blinking outside, her hand in mine longer than friends should. Crushes buried deep, Sapphic sparks I doused with denial, fearing the town's gravel whispers, the way eyes would narrow over fences. Years of what-ifs, paths not taken, her leaving for city lights while I stayed, rooting deeper into silence, desires tucked away like seeds in winter soil. The air cooled slow, AC's hum absent in this old house, just the faint drip of rain from eaves outside, steady as a pulse. Her breathing came even beside me, rising and falling, pulling my own into rhythm despite the tension coiling in my chest. I stared at the ceiling's faint outline, beams like ribs in moonlight slipping through cracked blinds, willing sleep to come. But it wouldn't. Too aware of her heat, the space between us shrinking with each shared breath, the blanket's weight a tether I couldn't ignore. She shifted first, a rustle of sheets soft but deliberate, like gravel under tires turning slow. Silence broke then, her voice threading the black, low and unguarded. You awake? A pause, her exhale long. I've always wondered about us back then. Those nights, the way we'd talk till it hurt to keep eyes open. Felt like more sometimes, didn't it? A connection we never named. Vulnerable? Raw. City Polish, stripped away in the dark, leaving the girl I'd known, the one who'd share secrets under quilts. Her laugh, rumbling quiet. My throat tightened, heat flushing my face, unseen. Empathy tugged, mirroring my own buried truths, but fear clamped down hard. What if she pulled back come morning, regret souring the air? I deflected, voice aiming light, a joke to bridge the gap. Old habits, huh? We were just kids dodging chores, dreaming up escapes. Nothing more to it. But it cracked at the end, betraying the emotion, swelling under, tremble in the words, breath, hitching slight. She heard it, I knew, the dark amplifying every tell, like silt settling in a stirred creek. Quiet, stretched, heavy now, charged with her admission hanging between us. The bed creaked as she turned toward me, mattress dipping, pulling the blanket taut across my hip. Her presence loomed closer, heat radiating stronger, a wall of warmth cutting the night's chill. I felt it before the touch, the shift in air, her arm extending slow, tentative. Then it came, fingers brushing my arm, accidental at first, light as a leaf falling, but lingering, tracing the curve of my elbow. A jolt shot through me, electric, sparking from skin to spine, heart slamming sudden against ribs. The contact burned, not pain, but fire, familiar yet new, awakening nerves long dormant. I froze, breath caught, mind splintering. Fear clashed hard, rejection's sting, the years of guarding my Sapphic heart against small-town grit, whispers that could uproot everything I'd built in solitude. What if this was pity? A night's vulnerability? fading with dawn. But the urge pulled stronger, a tide eroding walls, to bridge the gap, to name the what-ifs aloud, to let her in after so long holding the door barred. Her fingers stayed, warm and steady, calluses rough from city tools pressing gentle, grounding me in the now. The scent of her, faint shampoo from youth, mixed with rain's clean bite, filled my lungs, pulling memories sharp. Creek swims, her hand steadying mine on slippery rocks, promises whispered to stars we'd never break. "Why'd we let it go?" she murmured, voice closer now, breath ghosting my shoulder, warm and uneven. The question hung, probing deep, stirring the silt of regrets. I turned my head slight, profile catching faint light, her eyes dark pools, searching. My pulse thrummed, fear and want twisting like vines. "Town like this doesn't bend easy," I whispered back, honest but guarded, the words slipping past defenses. She nodded, unseen but felt, her hand sliding higher, palm flat against my arm now, thumb circling slow, a rhythm that matched our breaths. Tension built, coiling tighter, the dark, a cocoon holding us suspended. Every shift amplified. The sheets twist under my fingers, her leg brushing mine again, intentional this time, sending another spark. Internal war raged. Pull away, safe in solitude, or lean in, risk the fall. The urge won ground, years' weight pressing me toward her, the connection we'd wondered at now tangible, electric in the black. Her hand lingered longer, fingers curling slight, prompting me to freeze deeper, anticipation thrumming like storm wind before it breaks. Breath synced sharper, the space between us thinning to nothing, waiting for the next move in the quiet dark. Her hand lingered there, fingers curling just enough to hold, the pressure light but insistent, like roots finding soil after drought. The dark pressed in, amplifying the texture of the sheets under my palm. Coarse cotton twisting as I shifted, the faint ridges catching my skin. I could smell her shampoo still, that same herbal mix from our youth, wild, mint, and earth, clinging faint through the rain's clean wash. It pulled me back to creek banks, her hair wet from swims, laughter echoing off rocks as we'd promised to run away together, just us, against the world's narrow roads. "Don't move," she whispered then, voice low and rough, breath warm against my ear, carrying a chill from the storm she dragged in. It halted me mid-pull, my body freezing not from command but the raw plea in it, laced with years we'd buried. Her palm flattened fuller against my arm, calluses rough from city grips, tools, handles, lives she'd built away, pressing into my skin, grounding the rush, flooding me. Heat bloomed where we touched, spreading slow like silt stirred in still water, her body heat seeping through the thin barrier of nightshirt, close enough now to feel the rise of her chest sinking with mine. I didn't breathe for a beat, the world narrowing to that point of contact, heart thudding heavy in my ears, louder than the distant drip outside. Mara. The name echoed silent, a secret I'd guarded like embers under ash. Her confession came next, words tumbling soft in the black, mirroring the truths I'd hidden deep, Sapphic longings wrapped in small-town silence, dates with men to blend, nights alone tracing wants on ceilings. "I've carried this too long," she said, voice cracking slight, breath hitching. "Back then, those glances, the way I'd wait for your laugh, it wasn't just friendship. I felt it. Deep. But the town, family, they made me run, suppressed it in the city, chasing what fit their mold. Women, though, flashes, moments I pushed down. Like you. Always you." Her words hung, vulnerable, stripping the polish she'd worn, leaving the girl who'd shared my bed, innocent once, now naming the fire we'd both doused. Empathy surged, hot and sharp, clashing with my own walls. Fear of the morning's regret, the gravel whispers if word slipped, uprooting my steady life. But it mirrored me exact. The hidden pulls, the almost kisses I'd walked from, fearing eyes over fences, judgments that cut deeper than thorns. My throat tightened, hesitation coiling like the sheets around my legs, rough weave biting into calves as I tensed. try-fail beat in me. Pull away, safe in solitude, or lean, risk the shatter. The urge won, fragile trust testing like a step on thin ice. I turned slow toward her, the mattress dipping, blanket pulling taut between us, her heat enveloping fuller now, scent of mint stronger, mixed with skin's warm salt. Our faces close in the dark, breaths mingling uneven. I felt her eyes on me, dark pools searching, moonlight faint through blinds slanting across her cheek. Me too, I whispered, voice trembling, the admission freeing something locked ears. Hesitation lingered, my hand rising tentative to her shoulder, fingers brushing the curve there, soft under cotton, muscle firm from city strides. She didn't flinch, leaned instead, testing back, her free hand finding my waist, palm settling light, thumb tracing a slow line that sent sparks, skittering. Shared history anchored it then, the promise from that summer night under stars, whispered fierce by the creek. We'll always find each other no matter. A secret we'd sealed with linked pinkies, childish but binding, now pulling us through the year's divide, making this feel not new, but reclaimed. The air thickened, charged like before, lightning, every sense sharp. The twist of sheets as she shifted closer, faint creak of boards under us, her shampoo weaving with the room's dust and lavender echo. Vulnerability cracked my guard wider, walls crumbling slow, the guarded life I'd built yielding to this pull, authentic self surfacing in the quiet. Her fingers tightened slight on my arm, urging without words, and I leaned in fuller, foreheads touching first, skin warm and real, breath ghosting lips. The kiss ignited, then, tentative at the start. Lips brushing soft, hesitant, tasting of tea and rain, her mouth yielding slow under mine. It shifted quick, deepening as trust held, her hand sliding to my neck, fingers threading hair at nape, pulling gentle, but sure. I responded, hand cupping her jaw, thumb along the line there, rough from wind and time, the connection flaring hot. Tongues met, careful, exploring, the suppressed years pouring out in that press, longing, what-ifs, the Sapphic truths we'd both hidden now alive. Electric. Her body arched slight, pressing closer, heat building fierce under blankets, legs tangling unintentional, sparks racing from contact. The dark held us, amplifying the wet sounds of kiss, breaths ragged now, her moan low, vibrating against my lips. We broke for air, foreheads pressed, breaths shared in the small space, her eyes finding mine in faint light, dark, dilated, full of the same fire. Finally, she murmured, voice husky, hand tracing my collarbone, sending shivers. I nodded, words gone, just the feel of her anchoring, the promise from youth now flesh, intimacy weaving past and present, seamless. The kiss pulled us back, deeper still, hands roaming bolder, mine under her shirt, skin smooth and warm, tracing ribs that rose quick, hers at my hip, gripping firm, grounding the rush. Tension uncoiled into release, the moment stretching, bodies entwining slow, the don't move evolving to stay here in this reclaimed space, dawn far off yet. Quiet settled after the kiss, thick and warm, the kind that wraps you without needing words. Our bodies shifted slow under the blanket, legs tangling first, hers hooking over mine, calf muscle firm against my thigh, pulling me closer. Heat built steady, her skin radiating through thin cotton, palms finding waist, then back, fingers splaying wide to trace the curve of spine. Familiar, yet new. The dip where shoulders met neck, places I'd imagined in stolen moments, now real under touch. My hand slid up her side, ribs rising quick with each breath, thumb brushing the underside of breast. Soft yield, sending sparks, low. She arched slight, a sigh escaping, lips grazing my temple. No rush, just this. Exploring territory we'd mapped in dreams, hands mapping scars of time apart. The slow entwined like roots, finding each other in dark soil. Inside, something shifted. Walls I'd built high, brick by careful brick, guarding Sapphic wants from town's gravel stairs, from family dinners where I'd nod silent to their straight paths, crumbled now, dust settling soft. Vulnerability flooded in, replacing the guard I'd worn like flannel armor, heavy and worn. No more hiding. The ache of suppressed self eased, replaced by this raw openness, her nearness cracking me wide. I felt exposed, heart thudding open, but safe in her hold, the year's weight lifting like fog burning off at dawn. Tears pricked, unbidden, but I swallowed them, leaning deeper into her side, her arm curling around shoulders, holding steady. She broke the quiet first, voice low, breath warm on my hair. Regret those years, leaving without saying it. City swallowed me. Jobs, crowds, men who fit the script but left me hollow. Wondered if you'd waited or moved on. Her fingers paused on my back, pressing gentle, waiting. I turned my face to her neck, inhaling the mint earth scent, pulse steady under my lips. Me too. Stayed here, rooted, but alone in it. Dated safe, hid the rest. Women in dreams, then awake, fearing the talk. Lost time, yeah. But now, reclaiming it. Us. Words wove easy, past threading present, regrets spilling like rain easing off eaves, hopes rising green shoots after storm. What if we build from here? Not running this time. Her laugh rumbled soft, chest vibrating against mine. Hopes for mornings like this. Shared, real. But complication whispered in, shadows in the dark. Town won't bend easy, she murmured, hand stilling on my hip, thumb circling absent. Judgment over fences, stares at the store. Family. Mine expects the city return, yours, the steady daughter blending in. Fears hung light, external weights pressing the air, small town grit that ground down differences, expectations like barbed wire, family gatherings where I'd smiled through silences, hiding this pull. Her voice dropped lower. Scared it'll pull us apart again. I nodded against her, the truth biting sharp, but her hold tightened, anchoring. We'll face it. Together. No more suppressing. Affirmation came through touch then, her fingers tracing slow, down my arm first, finding the faint scar from the childhood fall, rough line from barbed wire we'd climbed that summer, laughing, reckless. This one, she said, voice soft wonder, nail following the ridge, sending shivers. From the fence, by the creek, promised we'd go back. Emotional scars next, her palm flat over my heart, feeling the thud, the hidden aches of years alone, suppressed longings I'd nursed quiet. And this, the weight you carried. My turn. Hand under her shirt, tracing the faded mark on her rib, city bike crash maybe, physical echo of paths. Diverged, then deeper, fingers along her jaw, the tension there from unspoken years, smoothing it gentle. Yours too, the running. Touch spoke louder, affirming the broken places, mending through press of skin, the slow weave of bodies, her legs shifting higher, heat pooling low, breaths sinking ragged. Vulnerability bloomed full, guards gone, just us in the tangle, scars mapped and claimed. We moved together then, hands bolder, exploring the familiar new, her thigh parting mine, friction building slow, sparks igniting where hips met. Lips found neck, kisses trailing wet, tasting salt and want. Words faded to murmurs, past promises reclaimed, hopes whispered fierce. The blanket twisted tight, sheets bunching under elbows as we pressed closer, her weight shifting half over me, solid and warm. No words needed now, just the rhythm of touch, the deepening bond pulling us seamless, fears edged but held at bay by this. Dawn crept in slow gray light, slipping through blinds, painting faint stripes across her shoulder. The room lightened, reality pressing close, morning's confrontation looming, choices to voice, the world outside waiting with its judgments. Her eyes met mine in the half-dark, hand still on my scar, breath evening as sleep tugged. But the pull held, bond rekindled deep, forcing us toward what came next. Warmth pulled me from sleep, limbs tangled like vines after rain, her leg draped heavy over mine, arm across my waist, pinning me close. Mara's breath ghosted my neck, steady and deep, her body curved to fit mine, heat lingering from night's fire. The room held that post-storm hush, air crisp now, slipping through cracked window, carrying the bite of wet earth and distant pine. I woke slow, awareness creeping in, her fingers loose on my hip, the faint press of her chest to my back, skin still flushed under the twisted sheets. For a breath, it felt right. Solid, like roots we'd finally let grow. Then panic rose sharp, cold, as the morning draft, chasing night's warmth, knotting in my gut. What now? The thought hammered, heart kicking hard against ribs. Dawn's gray light striped the walls, revealing us exposed, bodies entwined. The blanket kicked low, her hand on my scar, a map of what we'd claimed. Regret loomed, thick as fog over fields, the morning's clarity stripping away dark's mercy. Would she pull back? Eyes distant, mumbling excuses about city pulls, family duties, the life she'd built away from this dirt road. I'd guarded myself years, Sapphic truths buried under chores and nods to town's straight lines, fearing this exact shatter, the vulnerability of want met, then yanked. Panic swelled, breath shallow, body tensing under her hold, ready to slip free before she could. The air cooled fast, night's shared heat fading, leaving skin prickled, the contrast jarring like silt settling after flood. She stirred then, a low hum in her throat, arm tightening brief before loosening. Her fingers traced lazy on my stomach, light circles, over cotton, sending sparks despite the fear coiling tighter. I held still, statue-like, pulse thudding in ears, the room's quiet amplifying every shift, the creak of mattress, her inhale deepening. "Morning," she murmured, voice rough with sleep, lips brushing my shoulder, warm and sure. No haste in it, no recoil. Her hand slid up, palm flat over my heart, feeling the frantic beat, thumb pressing gentle to steady it. This feels right, finally. The words landed soft, reaffirming, cutting the panic's edge like sunlight through clouds. Her body shifted closer, leg hooking firmer, heat returning in waves, chasing the chill. Eyes met when I turned, hers dark, clear, no shadow of doubt, just that quiet intensity from youth now deepened by years. Relief flooded slow, easing the knot, but stakes pressed in, reality's weight settling heavy. We lay there, breaths sinking again, her fingers threading mine under the sheet, grounding. "What about the city?" I asked, voice low, the question hanging thick. "Your life there, design work, the rush, people expecting you back. I can't leave this place, the farm, the roots that hold me. Solitude here's safe, but lonely. How do we fit?" Words spilled honest, vulnerability raw, the contrast stark. Her urban stride against my steady tread on gravel paths, family ties pulling opposite, town's eyes waiting to judge any bend from the norm. Fear flickered back, external weights, whispers over fences, the suppression we'd both known, now threatening this fragile bridge. She propped on elbow, face close, hair falling wild across forehead, catching dawn's light. Her free hand cupped my cheek, thumb along jaw, rough callus tracing the line there, anchoring. I've questioned it all. The crowds that swallow, relationships that fade, chasing what fit but never filled. Last night, it clarified. City life's motion, but empty without this. Her gaze held steady, empathy mirroring mine, the suppressed paths we'd walked alone now shared. We'll navigate, me coming back more, you visiting, slow, but together. No running this time, promise. Emotional payoff swelled then, mutual, her words weaving hope through the fear, a vow sealing the night's truths. Tears pricked my eyes, hot and quick, but I nodded, squeezing her hand, the bond solidifying in that gray light, challenges named but not breaking us. Vulnerability lingered, walls down, authentic selves embraced in the quiet. The air shifted, cooler still, morning breeze slipping stronger through the pain, contrasting night's enveloping warmth. Skin chilled where sheets gapped, her body a refuge pulling me nearer. Scents mingled, faint mint from her hair, earth's wet grit outside, the room's dust stirring with the draft. We held the moment, breaths deep, The night's sensory close fading to dawn's crisp edge, embers to ash, but not cold. We rose slow then, sheets pooling at bed's foot, bodies separating, reluctant, the space between humming with what's next. Feet hit. Cool boards, creaking under weight, her hand brushing mine as we stood. Decision, looming large, connections thread taut, pulling toward choices in the light. Sunlight slanted through the kitchen window, catching dust motes and lazy swirls, the air crisp with coffee's bitter edge and bacon sizzle in the pan. We moved easy around each other, bodies brushing in the narrow space, her hip against mine as she reached for plates, a spark lingering from night into this ordinary light. Mara paused, spatula in hand, her eyes meeting mine over the stove's steam, dark and steady. "I'm not going back right away," she said, voice low but firm, flipping a strip that popped grease. "Mom's stable for now, but us. I want to stay, rebuild here, sell the city place, find work closer, design for local shops maybe, commit to this life, with you." The words landed solid, no hesitation, her free hand finding my waist, thumb pressing gentle through cotton, anchoring the choice. Heat bloomed there, not just skin, but deeper. The decision cutting through years' drift, pulling her roots back to this soil. I nodded, stirring eggs slow, the wooden spoon scraping iron, heart easing from morning's knot, relief washed quiet, her commitment a bridge over the divide, city's pull versus my steady ground, now merging in shared steps. "We'll make it work," I murmured, plating food, the scent weaving with the room's faint lavender echo. Breakfast hit the table scarred from childhood scratches, chairs scraping as we sat close, knees touching under wood. Her fork paused, eyes on mine. One night, and it rewrote everything. Years of silence, suppressed wants buried like seeds in winter. Mine in crowds chasing straight lines. Yours here in the quiet guard. But this, it bloomed them out. Shared future now. No more hiding. Reflections spilled natural, her voice threading past to present, the how of it. Darkness, cracking walls, touches naming truths. One bed turning what-ifs to real. I reached across, fingers lacing hers, calluses rough against my palm. Yeah. Rewrote the silence into mornings like this. Empowerment settled subtle. A quiet strength in the air, both of us embracing the authentic pull. No more defying ourselves for town's gravel stairs or family's nods to safe paths. She'd chased molds that chafed. I blended in shadows. Sapphic selves tucked deep like flannel in drawers. Now it surfaced free. Her laugh easy as she passed the salt. Mine bolder in the way I held her gaze, defying the suppressions that had weighed us. Vulnerability lingered, but lightened. Guards shed like old coats. Our true selves stepping forward in this kitchen, light, empowered by the choice to claim what we'd always felt. "Feels like coming home," she said, squeezing my hand, the subtle power in owning it. No apologies, just us, unbent. Lingering intimacy wove through the meal, hands brushing as we passed bread, fingers trailing slow on forearms, sparks jumping easy now. Newfound. Ease in every touch. Her foot hooked mine under the table, casual but deliberate, heat building low despite the morning's chill seeping from windows. We ate slow, words sparse but warm, plans murmured over coffee refills, her ideas for a studio in the spare room, my thoughts on clearing fields together, bodies leaning closer with each shared glance. The brush of her thumb on my wrist sent shivers, intimacy, not just skin, but the quiet knowing in her eyes, the way she'd lean to wipe a crumb from my lip, lingering there, breath warm, no rush. Just this flow, the night's fire banked to steady glow, hands finding each other natural, like they'd always meant to. After, we cleared plates together, water running hot over ceramic, suds bubbling white. She dried, towel snapping light, then pulled the old photo album from the shelf, leather cracked, pages yellowed from our girlhood summers. "Remember this?" she asked, flipping slow to a faded shot. Us at 12, arms slung around shoulders by the creek, grins wide under sun, wild hair tangled, secrets in our eyes even then. Dust rose faint as pages turned, Images of sleepovers, field runs, unspoken glances, captured, frozen. That was the start, I said, leaning into her side, her arm draping natural, chin on my shoulder. We lingered there, fingers tracing faces young and free, tying back to symbols of promise, the creek's bend, the quilt stitches, now flipping to new chapter, us older but whole, the album closing on a blank page waiting for our marks. Her lips brushed my temple, soft. New stories now, ours. The day unfolded slow, chores blending with her, fixing fence wire in the yard, her hands steady beside mine, laughter rising over gravel crunch. Evening drew near, sun dipping low, painting fields gold. Our steps synced on the path, hands laced loose, but sure. Life faded ongoing, romance enduring in the quiet pull, mornings shared, nights reclaiming, the bond woven deep, hinting at tomorrows built together, unyielding. Sunset bled orange across the fields, the dirt road crunching under our boots as we walked, hands laced tight. Mara's fingers squeezed mine, warm and sure, the familiar path stretching ahead like it always had, but now shared. Gravel bit soft into soles, air thick with pine and cooling earth, her shoulder brushing mine with each step. The pull of that unexpected night, her return, the bed's close heat, whispers breaking years of silence, validated it all. Our hidden truths, Sapphic longings buried under town's grit and guarded lives, bloomed real now, no more suppressing the ache we'd both carried. We paused at the creek's bend, water murmuring low, fireflies starting their dance. Her eyes met mine, dark pools reflecting the light, a quiet smile curving her lips. This was us, reconnected, whole. If this stirred your own memories, subscribe for more stories of Sapphic journeys. Comment below if you've rekindled a past flame.